What the hell is wrong with Patrick Beverly? Now, a couple of nights ago, Pat Bev will respond to a fan tweeting out basically asking, why do NBA All-Stars play harder in the summertime but don't give that same effort during the NBA All-Star game? Pat Bev will respond to this tweet by saying, because All-Stars take the game for granted. Now, that boy Trae Young caught wind and had to respond to that wild tweet by saying, relax, let us speak for ourselves. That tweet right there made Patrick Beverly go on his podcast and say this about Trae Young.
Interesting.
Very interesting coming from Trae Young, a person that on this pod we ride and die for Trae Young.
Yeah, he didn't want us to ride and die for him.
It was very interesting take. I don't know. I don't think he's in a position to speak.
Why is that?
I don't think he's one enough to even speak to me like that or tweet me like. He's been to the playoffs 3 times. I've been to the playoffs 9.
9 is more than 3.
He's been in the NBA 7 years.
Right.
My first 7 years, I didn't miss the playoffs at all in the Western Conference. His rebuttal is probably going to be, yeah, you want the main player on the team. You're absolutely right, but this is why it's a team. In order for him to make 9, he would have to be in year 13, knock on wood, nothing injury happens, consecutively just to tie me of making the playoffs 9 times. I think I've only missed the playoffs 1 time in my career. Ironically, it's with the team that I'm from, Chicago Bulls.
And that was still playing.
Yeah, but still, I don't count that.
It doesn't count.
Yeah. Trae, you can score all the points you want. You can make all the money you want. You can have all the leading assists you want. You can do all that. If you don't win, that shit won't matter. If you don't win, when you're retired, they're going to forget your name. Fast, too.
Now, in the wise words of the 7-foot sniper, this is getting out of hand. And Patrick Beverly, you sound delusional, my boy. And honestly, I'm not mad that Pat Bev decided to respond because I do think that NBA players who play in an All-Star game could give a little bit more effort. That's not to say that they should play as hard as Jordan and them boys did back in the 90s. But it should at least feel like they're trying to put on a show. But the problem I have with Patrick Beverly's response is this. Patrick Beverly, now what have you won in the NBA? Oh yeah, that's right. You won a play-in game to the playoffs, and you chose to celebrate that like you just hit the game winner in game 7 of the NBA Finals. Then you compare how many times you've been to the playoffs versus how many times Trae Young has been, as if you was the one carrying your team into the playoffs. Not to mention, all of the teams that you played on that made it to the playoffs had a Hall of Fame superstar on them running the show. Now, you was a good role player, and I personally think a lot of the things that you brought to your teams was important, and sometimes those things don't show up on the stat sheet. But comparing your career to Trae Young's career is like comparing apple to oranges. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Is Patrick Beverly ranked higher than Trae Young within the NBA, or has Patrick Beverly lost his mind?